Ever since feather crochet hit the scene, I have been screaming at y'all about how this hair is reusable. So today I'm going to show you how I took this style down, saved the hair, washed the hair, dried the hair, and reused it for a completely different look. So if you want to see how I recycled this hair into these beautiful, super full boho locks, make sure you stay tuned. The hair we're using today is from a video we did in early April. This is the Ywigs Deep Wave Feather Crochet. It was 4 full bundles. After a few weeks of wear, it's time to take them out, so let me show you how I did that. When it comes to braids, having short hair is kind of really the hack because it helps so much with the takedown. What I did was I just measured where my hair stopped in the back and I cut the braid off where my hair stopped. That way all I had to do was just pull the hair from the braid that was cut off instead of trying to like pull them all off on the braid while it's still attached to my head. I hope that makes sense. This little shortcut not only saves me time, but it also saves my arms. I am just not a big fan of takedowns at all. That's why I tend to go for larger or medium-sized braids. If I ever choose to go small, best believe I have mentally prepared myself for it or scheduled an appointment with somebody. Anywho, so we're taking down feather crochet hair, which means we're going to be saving these bundles. I'm being very careful that I'm not snipping where the thread is in the braid. If there is any resistance or of that kind, I just cut the braid and trim it to where I can get to the thread, and then I just pull it out like so. Now if you go back and watch the original install video, you know that I burned the ends of the synthetic hair, so it's pretty easy to get it out if you just pull it at the bottom. If you give it enough pull, it'll just come right out. If not, you can just easily just cut it off. Since I know I'm going to be reusing this hair, I'm being very careful about cutting the threads and checking for any tangles as I'm removing them and brushing them out as I move along. The more you do on the front end, the less you have to do on the back end. So now that everything's removed, I'm gonna go ahead and wash these bundles. It was a tight week, so I just went ahead and did them at the shop. Pretty easy to do. You just tie them all onto one bundle and shampoo and condition them however you please. The name of the game is just to get any dirt and buildup out of it, so I made sure to shampoo the bundles very well. Now for the fun part. Y'all know I love a good hack or a good resource, and this is a travel dryer, a travel clothes dryer that I found on Amazon. I came across a video of somebody demoing this clothes dryer, and I said, oh, this would work really good for bundles. So while I was at work that day, I just went ahead and put those wet bundles in that travel bag, zipped it up, turned it on, and by the time I was done for the day, they were completely dry. So if you're in a pinch, or if you're the type of person who works with a lot of bundles on a daily basis, or you have to wash your clients' bundles, this is a awesome hack because it is super inexpensive. Not only does it dry the hair faster, but it helps the hair dry in its natural state instead of being crunched up in a dryer somewhere or having to wait a day or two for bundles to air dry. It's pretty much foolproof. You just press the button, it has a timer on it, let it do its thing. The hangers I'm using were sold separately, but they're also inexpensive as well. I'll be sure to link everything in the description box below. Here's the hair completely dry. As you can see, it is still soft, super bouncy, and it's retaining its curl pattern. The locks I'm using are just some standard synthetic goddess locks I got off of Amazon. These are 18 inches and you can get 84 strands for less than 20 bucks. To wrap the locks, I'm using the twisted up springy afro twist hair. This is the 12 inch and I'm only going to use half of this pack. For locks, I'm going to prep the hair first, and here's an idea of how much hair I'm going to use per lock. Just a tiny amount off of there. Now I only need a small amount because my hair is short and not super thick, but if your hair is long and super thick, you're probably going to need more wrapping hair. And with all lock styles, I prep the hair in advance, so I'm going to feed that wrapping hair through the loop of the lock, and I'm going to set that to the side. Here's a quick tutorial on how I install soft locks. We're just going to pull that wrapping hair through the base of the braid. And I like this method because you can adjust the wrapping hair to the length that you need it to be. We're going to gather the natural hair and the lock together, and then we're just going to start wrapping from the base all the way down. I prefer to skip wrap. Skip wrapping not only helps you be able to fish out your braid later on, but it also helps you use less hair when you're wrapping. When you're trying to cover up all of the hair, you're going to use a lot of wrapping hair to do that, and it's going to add more weight to your style. Now, I only ran into this issue when I got to the top of my head because my hair was longer, but you see that little piece sticking out there? I'm just going to grab a very small piece of wrapping hair and continue the wrap all the way down. Now, the type of hair you use does matter. I like to use this particular wrapping hair because it doesn't require any glue or adhesives. You just continue wrapping and it'll stay in place because the curl pattern is so tight. Also, if you're new to this, do not wrap your base super tight because that's what's going to give you stiff locks. Essentially, you want to make sure you just have some movement and some range of motion. So it's not pulling and tugging on your hair. Now, to add the human hair, all I did was just line up the length to the end of the lock, because if I go too low on that lock, it's not going to stay. And I'm not going to crochet it in. I'm just going to loop wrap it around the lock. Because of the texture of the lock and the thinness of the thread, you just pull it through. Make sure you pull both ends through that thread, and it's not going to come off. You're just gonna pull it and tug it. You see how both ends of that thread went through? If both threads don't go through, it's not gonna stay, and you're gonna know, and you're gonna have to go back and fix it. I promise this doesn't take long. I'm just moving slow so that I can show you guys how this is supposed to look. But once you get like the hang of it, it doesn't take long at all. And you're probably wondering why I just didn't do this before I installed the locks. Well, this is why, because once I got to the top, now we're in the territory where my natural hair and the locks are combined. So I wouldn't have been able to pre-loop these on. I would have had to wait to do these when I got them on my head. It can still be done. It's just a matter of when you wrap the lock, you would have to wrap around the boho hair. And I just simply didn't feel like fighting with that. And of course, for maximum volume and fullness, I like to add pieces at my roots. So I do this at the top and mainly the perimeter areas. Another reason I didn't want to pre-make the locks with the feather crochet hair is that if you miscounted how much you needed, then the only way to fix that is to cut the lock. You gotta cut the lock off of the crochet hair. This is just not something that you can unravel. You have to cut it off. So it just made more sense to me to just install it as I went. That way I can keep count of how many pieces I had, and it would look right by the time I got done. Alright, so final verdict, I think this might be my favorite way to wear this hair. Look at how flowy that is. OMG. Perfect for vacation. Absolutely perfect for vacation. I actually went out of town that weekend with this hair. Loved every minute of it. Easy to wear, easy to maintain, easy to take down. Loved, loved, loved. 10s across the board. And mind you now, I'm reusing this hair from a previous style. You just can't beat that. For maintenance, all I needed was my handy dandy water bottle, and I finger combed. I did not brush or comb this hair, and then I just went in with a little bit of BioSilk every once in a while, and that just helped with frizz and flyaways. If I had a beach vacation coming up, this would be the go-to, hands down. Now, to remove these, I would just take these out like I would any normal soft lock, and the lock would be intact. But if I wanted to reuse the feather crochet hair, I would have to cut the lock off, which is why I use really cheap synthetic locks for this. As always, if you learned something new, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and share it with a friend. It helps the channel out so much. Special thanks to Ywigs for sponsoring today's video. All the information you need about this hair and tools and products used will be listed in the description box below. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button on your way out for videos just like this every week. Thanks so much for watching today. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!